What is good? Osiris here. I do a channel called Stuck in the Middle, and I've started to put all my critical theory news and discussion over here. Critical theory news and discussion for today is about Ron DeSantis. We're going to go back to this bill that he passed, and Ron DeSantis just challenged a bunch of books in Florida. This is through his Florida Department of Education, and they banned math books. Let me be clear before I get into this. I sound like Kamala Harris. Let me be clear. Before I get into this, when we're talking about math, banning books is irrelevant. I was a math major. I'm very familiar with math. I don't use it much anymore, so don't ask me to flex because I can't. But when it comes to math, it's purely objective. It's not subjective. So when you say I'm banning books, I say, so what? As long as children are learning what they need to learn, then it doesn't matter what books are getting banned at all. Not even a little bit. Nobody cares. You shouldn't care. So it's an objective subject. But many people wanted receipts. I respect that. Some of them, one of them's like Ron Filipkowski, said 3 days after his administration was challenged to produce examples of CRT from his banned list of math books, DeSantis still has nothing except to say that they contain some of these other things. And then he says, follow the money on which publishers get the contracts. That's a fair question. I'll follow the money. Let me know, Ron. See? But I'm going to take the publisher money out of it until we see proof. I don't know if they have receipts yet. I haven't seen them yet. Like there's an issue there or something. But let's look at first what DeSantis had to say. And then I have an article that talks about and brought out some of what was in these books. The article is coming from obviously a pro critical race theory or someone who doesn't think critical race theory is taught in school. I don't know what idiot doesn't think that. They're playing a game of semantics, saying what's being taught in school isn't critical race theory, whatever. But I trust the article, but I mean, I got to trust and verify. So I want to look through the books myself. I don't know if I'll have time to do that, but I appreciate they did the work in the article. So you will want to see that. The article brings the receipts.
Math is about getting the right answer. And we want kids to learn to think so they get the right answer. It's not about how you feel about the problem or to introduce some of these other things. There's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. And we want all our students getting the right answers. And so most of the books that did not meet Florida standards for whatever reason happen to be in the early grades. As you get into the older grades, most of those books did meet the standards, but we're going to continue to focus the education on the actual strong academic performance of the students. We don't want things like math to have some of these other concepts introduced. It's not been proven to be effective, and quite frankly, it takes our eye off. Math is about getting the right answer. And
so that's a clip from his press conference. Ron DeSantis is doing one of these press conferences every day, pretty much, where he's like, I just did another boss move. But let's look inside the actual books. Someone did the work here. Judd Legume, props to you. This is work I would have done if I could do this with more time on my hands. I would have loved to have dug into this. Even though I don't need it, other people are asking for it. And it's interesting to provide that information and see what they say in response. Inside the dangerous math textbooks, DeSantis claimed would indoctrinate students. Yeah, let's do it. You did some of the work here. I appreciate that. So Ron DeSantis made the allegations. This person here from this popular.info website did the work to say right-wing activists claim that social emotional learning is CRT by another name, but that is inaccurate. So they're talking about other stuff. Well, I will disagree with that. What it is it's a gateway that you can sneak critical race theory in. So, okay, you're playing semantics. Is it critical race theory? No, I don't know anybody who says that. What they really mean is it's just something to sneak it in when you get into these emotional things. So they said critical race theory is a graduate level academic framework. So it's going down that BS line. It's not something you typically find discussed in the K through 12 math book. So they're acknowledging that it is in there sometimes. So let's look at these examples here. So these are the books that came out. Popular Information obtained 8 of the 26 math books rejected by Florida for prohibited topics. So this is not an exhaustive search, but what they find in these books is pertinent, it is relevant to it. So when we look at the book here, one of these books, according to the Florida Department of Education, the highest numbers of books rejected were for grade levels K through 5, with an alarming 71% were not appropriately aligned with Florida standards or included prohibited topics. So they're saying that some of them had race, some of them didn't have race. In one rejected, this is the first example I'm showing you here. In one rejected textbook, Florida Reveal Math Grade 1 includes a series of questions under the heading Math is Mindset. These questions include: how can you show that you value the ideas of others? And what helps you understand your partner's ideas? This is not math, so I have no problem with getting rid of a book with that. How can you show that you value the ideas of others? I'm not saying it's a bad question, but we're talking about math here. It's irrelevant to anything that we're doing here for math. The book also encourages students to learn how to work together when doing math and listen to our friends and teachers. When we do math, we work together. We listen to our friends and teachers. What is that? I don't know why that's in there. So you can call it whatever you want, but it doesn't need to be in a math book. That's not even up for debate. What could I learn from others? Thinking about the problem. What can I do to help all classmates feel comfortable in math class? Now we're getting to a question that is completely unacceptable. The question here that says, what can I do? What can you do to help all classmates feel comfortable in math class? That's not something that needs to be in a math book. Of course, as a teacher, this is what I'm thinking. Some people are ahead of others and all those type of things. Why that's for a teacher, not for a student to worry about. How do you kind of manage a class? The textbook encourages students to think about how they can recognize and respond to the emotions of others and practicing building relationships with classmates. That's not a math book. So if you want to do that, you write another book and we'll see how that goes and look at it. But now we're getting into stuff that has nothing to do with math. Why is that in the math book? Another book. Popular Information also obtained a copy of another rejected textbook for elementary students, Envision Florida, BEST, Best Mathematics, Grade 1. The textbook includes, my son's going to be in first grade next year. The textbook includes a section entitled Learn Together, which outlines the importance of sharing your ideas, valuing ideas from others. I'm sure that means valuing ideas from others who aren't populist right, and listening with an open mind. And you see how quickly we get away from math. My Math Thinking and Reasoning Handbook, Learn Together. To learn together, share your ideas. Say what you think to help you and others learn. Value ideas from others. Listen with an open mind. Ask helpful questions. Give helpful feedback. Encourage others. Disagree respectfully. Disagree respectfully? It's a math book. It's completely objective. There is no, it's either you're right or you're wrong. There is no disagree. So these things that can help you and others learn. So it's not teaching logic. If you were thinking logically through this, like if you said, when we do math, it is not to agree or disagree. 2 + 2 is 4. There's not an agreement or disagreement. It's one of you is right and one of you is wrong if you got a different number. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, they tried to make it sound like, oh, this is the dangerous material that the Florida Department of Education and DeSantis is keeping out of the hands of young students. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's that concerning, but yeah, I have no problem with them cleaning this up, making sure it doesn't get worse. Popular Information also obtained this book. Now we're in grade 8, pre-algebra. The only middle school math textbook rejected for including prohibited topics. Almost all of the textbook, according to Popular Information, is comprised of pre-algebra problems for 8th graders. But the book also encourages students to actively participate, persevere, and keep a positive mindset. This focus on self-confidence could be considered SEL, so they even acknowledge that. So I don't have a problem with that, but that's something for a teacher to know, to pull out, okay, this person doesn't like math or they're struggling. I could see that. You're going to work through that. But it doesn't need to be in the children's version of the book. As a doer of mathematics, I actively participate in learning during math class. I analyze problems and ask questions to help me make sense of problem situations. I keep a positive mindset and persevere when solving a challenging problem. My classmates and I help each other implement new methods and approaches. What methods help me make sense of problems? What questions can I ask to make sense and solve a problem? What's another message I might use to solve a problem? What helps me stay positive when I'm feeling frustrated? How do I collaborate productively with my teammates? The book also features an occasional section called Pause and Reflect. Students are asked questions like, how did you show others that you value their ideas during class today? And where in the lesson did you feel most confident? That's unnecessary and inappropriate. So the book here includes write-ups of African-American mathematicians. I have no problem with this. This is a ugly part of it, because they said it had people of other backgrounds too, so it wasn't like just black people. Yeah, that's not critical race theory at all. No, it's not. What we have here, though, is when you're the boy that cries wolf and you say, you basically say, well, it's a kind of in reverse, because you keep on saying critical race theory is not in school, it's not in school, it's not in school, and it's in legislation. The Pope, it's with the Pope, it's with everybody. It's in Hollywood. We know it's everywhere. So how could it not be in school when we have the receipts and we know it's in school? Nobody cares what you say anymore. So if you say this isn't critical race theory, it's just highlighting history. This is literally highlighting history, and it looks like if they are accurate, the different backgrounds were represented, I have no problem with it. But people don't trust you. They don't like you. You treat them like they're the worst people in the world. They don't care. So now these are gone. Book referencing these. Now, to be clear, we don't know if Florida is saying that they got rid of the book because of this. We don't know that. So that's part of the danger for them to not give examples. So I think they should have given some examples. I don't think they needed to, obviously, but it would have helped to narrow things down. At least one example from every book. So this was multicultural representation is basically what that is. Going back, there's a couple more. I'm going to end with this one here, because we're getting into Common Core, and Common Core to these people on the left, bootlicking left, is just a normal math standard. And when my son, I don't know if he's going to learn. All of the kids are learning Common Core now, pretty much. I'm going to go with what they do and see if he gets it and go through it. But Common Core also includes methods that are unique and unusual to parents or a lot of people who haven't done math in a while, because they're doing different techniques. I can learn any technique in math, but the thing with math is you should be able to do any technique you want and get the answer. I mean, pretty much all my way from K through college, maybe a couple times the way you got to the answer mattered, but most of the time it wasn't. That's not what it is. You show your work, and if your work is a different style than Common Core, it doesn't matter. I see what you did, you got it. But that's not what's happening. Common Core is a control mechanism to say you do it the way we want you to do it. It's the way that's how I take it. So that Common Core was part of this banning that they did. So they talked about prejudice in a trigonometry. This is a kind of a trigonometry book, or statistics maybe. It says correlation can be seen when data items are displayed on a scatter plot. Although the scatter plot in Figure 1228 indicates a correlation between education and prejudice. So they're trying to sneak in ideas that everything is racist. I fully support banning that book. There's no need for that. There's plenty of examples of plenty of things you could have done. This book also includes the concept of stereotyping as a form of prejudice. Keep in mind, we're doing a math book, right? This is a math book. And like how quickly you can forget that in a math book. Obviously, stop it. Stop it. Obviously, in a math book, there's no need for anything like that. So stereotyping is literally a tenet of critical race theory. It's called race essentialism or something to that effect. I already forgot what it's called. I got to look that up. I think it's called something to the effect of race essentialism. I could look up my own video where I did it real quick. And then I have a video from my other channel where I did the tenets of critical race theory. And I forgot what I got to look this up. Hopefully, though. I did not make the top anymore. I used to be in the top when I searched in the middle. Okay, let me try this. So I'm searching for my own video where I did a whole video breaking down the tenets of critical race theory. Here it is. And the tenets are pillar 4, differential racialization. Since I'm here, let's listen to it. Opinion. Differential racialization. This is the academia fancy way of just saying stereotypes. They believe in stereotypes, and that stereotypes change over time. The other part of it is that stereotypes are there to benefit those in power and control. Intersectionality. This is a big one. And what that means is if I'm black. So that was it. So that's a tenet of critical race theory that we see in the book. Yeah, pretty crazy. So when you look at it, I'm going to finish here with it. At the end here, we're talking about stereotypes. And it says stereotyping refers to classifying people, places, or things according to common traits. Prejudices and stereotypes can function as assumptions in our thinking, appearing in inductive and deductive reasoning. For example, it is not difficult to find inductive reasoning that results in generalizations such as these, but well as deductive reasoning, which these stereotypes serve as assumptions. School has nothing to do with life. Intellectuals are nerds. People on welfare are lazy. Each group should find one example of inductive reasoning and one example of deductive reasoning in which stereotyping occurs. Upon returning to the group, present each example. That is critical race theory in a nutshell. This example here just talked about sickle cell anemia and the chances of, and this obviously affects African Americans. I didn't have a problem with this one. So I don't know if this is why they banned the book, but again, when you act like you act, you don't respect other people's opinions, you get what you get. Let me know what you think.